Yes. Now, the UK and the EU are said to have reached a preliminary agreement on the amount that Britain will pay when it leaves the bloc, the so-called divorce bill, sending the pound surging by more than 1%. That clears a major hurdle in the negotiations, leaving just the issue of the Irish border before talks can progress to the next phase. That and any lingering concerns around the rights of EU citizens, of course, the third of the triptych. Joining us now from Brussels, Bloomberg's Jones Hayden with the latest. Good morning to you, Jones. What exactly has been agreed? People familiar telling us that has been some preliminary agreement.
Right. What we seem to have is the outline of a deal on the financial commitment that the UK is going to pay as a result of Brexit when it leaves the EU. The main point is the UK seems to have said, OK, this is the overall financial commitment that the UK has to the EU, and then they've agreed on a methodology for breaking that down and coming up with a final figure as to how much the UK will pay. This figure is going to be about 40 billion euros, according to our sources. We don't have the definitive number, and in fact, they're trying not to. They don't want to have a definitive number. Theresa May doesn't want to have a lump sum payment, and it looks like that's what the deal is going to be. And there's going to be some kind of staged payments reaching out into the future, and she's going to avoid having to say this is a final figure on this.
Well, of course, Jones, a very good morning to you. The speculation, the Daily Telegraph, the divorce bill, 45 to 55 billion, the FT, 100 billion, and as you say, our sources at 40 billion. How does she sell that to Liam Fox, Boris Johnson, and Priti Patel, who had some rather aggressive language yesterday in regards to the Brexit bill? I don't think it's polite to even repeat it. How does she sell that to the Red Tops? Because they will lambast her from one end of Whitehall to the other.
Right. It's a difficult thing, but I think she's got the EU on board in terms of that, in terms of doing the optics on this. So if they focus on the methodology and not on the final sum, then I think they're going to be able to sell it back to her party constituents in London. And that's a very important thing, not just the number, but also, you know, you don't have to just sell this to the other EU 27 countries. You also have to sell it back in the UK. And I think that's what they're trying to come up with here. And it looks like they've got something that they think they can take back to London, and they think they can make it work.